How can you streamline and declutter your website for 2019? I'll show you exactly what to remove, and we're starting right now. If you want to transform your website into a customer or lead generation machine, I'll show you all my best tips, tactics, and secrets to get there fast. Let's dive in. Hey there, welcome. I'm Wes McDowell, web strategist for The Deep End, and if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, we do 2 new videos a week here, and you're not going to want to miss any of them. So just click on the subscribe button and the little bell icon next to it so you never miss another video you need to succeed online. Okay, so one of my biggest resolutions for 2019 is to help as many small business owners as I possibly can make sense of their website and make it a lot less confusing. You know, most websites are just saying way too much, especially when you think about your customer only wants to hear one thing, which is how can you help them? When you have too many pages, too many options, too many competing messages, and none of those messages are relevant to your customer, they're gonna tune out and probably just go right on to the next website, which is probably your competition. So in this video, I wanna help you clear out the clutter that's probably holding your website back. You know, most businesses don't really know intuitively what needs to go on their website, so all they're really left with is looking at other websites in their niche or other websites in their industry to see, okay, what is everybody else including on their website? And if they're doing it, it's probably important that we have it too. Or they make the mistake of thinking that, you know, professional websites have lots of information. So they start adding, you know, pages and sections that they really don't need because they think it makes them look like more of a big deal. And they think that their customers are actually going to take the time to sift through all that information. And the idea of a simpler, more pared down website just makes them feel like
something's missing.
Something's missing, all right.
And that something is clarity. So I'm going to run down the list of some of the most common offenders of pages or elements that most businesses feel are necessary, but really all they do is add to the clutter. And before we begin, of course, there are always exceptions, and you may find that there's a real genuine need to include one of these things on your website, but just ask yourself with each one, is this really necessary, and is it really going to lead to getting a new customer or closing on a deal? If the answer is no, consider cutting it all together, or at least demoting it away from the top navigation down to the bottom navigation, you know, usually in the footer of your website. The first thing I want to talk about are staff bios. So I see this on so many websites I visit. Usually it's a grid of, you know, pictures of employees with the option to click on them to learn more about them and their contact information. And maybe there's a really important reason to have this on your website, but I would definitely think this is cause for a demotion to put it in your footer, because this page is definitely more about your team and your business than it is about the customer. You know, because think about it, once someone makes it to this page, they're now taken out of the path toward a purchase, and now they're just left to kind of click around on photos, and they don't really know what to do next. You know, do you really want them reading about how Mary in accounting is a new cat mommy? Or do you want them to be scheduling a consultation? All right, next up is your mission statement page. I see this one a lot as well. And while it's great to have a mission as a company, it's unlikely to lead toward a conversion of any kind. The goals of your company are great to have internally, but unless they overlap directly with your customers' goals, they're pretty much irrelevant and should be either eliminated from the website or at least moved down to the bottom. You're much better off including something like a how we help page or our goals are your goals kind of page. All right, next are hero images of either your staff or the interiors of your office. I see this one a lot, you know, with law firms especially and with doctors' offices. What this really does is it makes your business the hero in your customer's story. The problem is your customer is the hero of their own story, and your business should really position yourself as the mentor or the guide that helps your customer get to where they want to be. So the better thing to do, rather than showing photos of your office and your staff members, is to choose photos that really are meant to depict your customer and the emotional state that they find themselves in once they've been transformed by your business. So in other words, if you're an architect, don't show photos of architects. Show photos of people enjoying what you've created for them. Next up is a community involvement or charity work page. Now, I am not suggesting for a second that charitable work or working with your community isn't important. It definitely is. And it's amazing if you choose to do that, but it's probably not a selling point of your business. Put yourself in your customer's shoes and really ask yourself if them knowing about this is really important to them in choosing you as a company. And you know your customer better than I do, so if that's the case, then by all means display that with pride. But here's the thing, don't display that just because you think people should care about it. What people should care about and the reality of what they really do care about are two very different things. And if the answer is no, and that's not going to lead them to a buying decision, then it's really just distracting away from the core messaging of your website, which is how you help your customers. And in this case, I would not recommend removing it altogether. I think it's great to have this page, but I would definitely put it down in the bottom navigation. All right, next up is so common, and that's the Contact Us page. So Contact Us is one of the weakest calls to action you can choose because it doesn't provide any kind of a clear path. People like to know exactly what's happening next, and contacting you isn't exactly clear. You know, imagine if you were out on a Saturday night and you hit it off with a girl and you said to her, "Can I contact you?" That would be confusing, and she'd probably be bringing that up with her friends wondering, what did he mean by that? Much better to say, you want to take her out to dinner. You know, it's much more direct and the intention is clear. You know, booking an appointment, making a reservation, getting a free strategy call. Those are all examples of a clear call to action, and that should be your new Contact Us page. All right, next up, I want to talk about these huge footer maps that have been popping up in recent years on people's websites. I can only guess they caught on to begin with because people were thinking,
Something's missing.
you know, it's big and bold, and I guess it looks interesting, but at the end of the day, it's distracting. I can think of very few cases when this would actually be relevant. Maybe if you have a bunch of locations and you really wanted to showcase all of them on this map, I might see the point, but even then, it feels like overkill and distracting away from the real goal of the site. Just replace it with your address, phone number, and a small embedded Google map. You know, that's good for local SEO, and it's not distracting. Even if your goal was to drive foot traffic into a brick and mortar location, you're not going to need this to get you there. All right, now I want to hear from you, and I want to know, are you using any of these elements on your website right now? And if so, do you disagree and think they're necessary, or are you going to be removing them? I want to know all about it, so leave it in the comments below. Along with any questions you have, I'll go through everything and answer all the questions I possibly can. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and click on the circle icon right here to subscribe. And if you're ready to step up to a more strategic website, there are many ways we can work together. Just click this box right up here to see the different options, and I hope to hear from you soon. All right, guys, Wes McDowell here for The Deep End. I'll see you in our next video.